On today's show,
Hey, would you look at that? Basketball is back. We preview and predict Game 3 of the NBA Finals.
does Kevin Love's absence help or hurt the Cavs' chances? And is this the most important game of LeBron's career?
That plus a behind-the-scenes look at one of the NBA's best Snapchat accounts.
It's Wednesday, June 8th. The starter starts now.
Good evening, sweet world, and welcome to The Starters. Whether you're listening to the podcast or joining us live on NBA TV or a little bit later on YouTube, we're happy to have all of you. I'm Jay Skeets, and alongside me, as always, that's Tess Millis.
We are happy.
To his right, it's the international man of mystery, taking it to the max, Lee Ellis.
Friend.
Lele.
And last, certainly not least, joining us live in Cleveland, there he is, Starters blog editor, Trey Kirby.
Hey-o!
Hello, TK, great to have you. First things first here, TK. I'm happy to report that your very, very, very pregnant wife has not given birth yet.
Great to hear. I know she had a baby appointment today. The doctor legit asked her about the finals, said to tell me to come home as soon as I can, and that she hopes this doesn't go 7 games, because if it does, I'm in California 2 weeks before the due date. So shout out to the Warriors for maybe making this a close, short series.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, fingers crossed that everything goes all right here. All right, we got a lot of questions later in the show for you, but sort of the most important pressing question from us today was, why weren't you invited to hang out with the Hang Time podcast bros and have a banh mi sandwich? What happened?
Well, to be honest with you, I was walking with these guys over to practice today. They told me about it, but I had eaten at that very same Vietnamese restaurant the night before. I've got a half banh mi waiting in my fridge back home after Game 3 is done here.
You're a little sick sounding right now. What's going on there? Late nights in Cleveland?
Yeah, a lot of late nights. You know, Monday night I watched part 1 of The Bachelorette on ABC. Last night I also had to finish part 2 of The Bachelorette, so I've been raging here in Cleveland.
Okay, well, get a cough drop in you. We're going to talk to Trey a little bit later in
Living
the
that
show.
bachelorette life.
That's right. Tonight, the NBA Finals moved to Cleveland for Game 3. Couldn't have come soon enough for those Cavs. The Warriors won both games in Oakland, blowout fashions. They're going up 3-0, would basically clinch this for the Warriors. We know that no NBA team has ever won a series after losing the first 3 games. So yeah, this one is a tad important. And we have some key questions as we head in to Game 3 tonight on ABC at 9 p.m. Eastern. The first one, biggest news of the day, really, is that Cavs forward Kevin Love won't play in Game 3 tonight because of a concussion. Love suffered the concussion in Game 2 when Harrison Barnes inadvertently hit his head going for a rebound. Now, Love took part in the team's shoot-around this morning, but ultimately he was not cleared by doctors. So no Kevin Love for Game 3 for the Cavs, and that's not good news, of course, being down 2-0 in this series. But here's the question for everyone watching and you guys. Does Love's absence help or hurt the Cavs? I know that sounds a little weird at first, but what do you think?
It definitely hurts them.
You think
I
so?
know people think they may just reincarnate back to their mode last year where they played a little bit more defensive without Love and Irving, but I don't buy it. If they play better tonight, it's because they're going home where they've won 7 straight games and because they hold on to a couple leads like they've had in Games 1 and Games 2 and have carried it forward. I think what's most important right now, LeBron has to get his guys more involved because you don't have Kevin Love's ability out there. LeBron just has to pass and carry some more weight himself, but it doesn't help them that Kevin Love's ability is out.
No, 17 points and 9 rebounds and 3 3-pointers a game. I mean, Kevin Love's a very, very good player. Sometimes he gets picked on a little bit for his defense, but he's an outstanding player, probably their second or third best option, whether or not you put him ahead of Kyrie Irving. Without him out there on the floor, that means LeBron has to do more, and other guys like Richard Jefferson and Channing Frye are going to get those shots, and they have to knock them down, but also just rebounding and his presence out there. I mean, he's a very, very good player, and they're going to miss him when he's not out there.
Yeah, I hear you guys, but at the same time, it could help them because it does force Coach Lue to change his lineup. It wasn't working through these 2 games, and I think we kept talking about it.
They lost to a team that's won 73 games
I know,
twice at home.
Yes,
what
are you going to do? Just continue to
team.
keep playing the exact same lineup when you have 2 horrible defenders in Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love out there? Now he's forced to make a decision. We don't know what that decision yet is. Do you start Channing Frye? Do you start Richard Jefferson? Do you start Timofey Mozgov and go big? At least forces Coach Lue to do something else. It does, and whether or not it works, we'll find out tonight.
I think they're going to play better because they're going home, first and foremost. They had a lead at the end of Game 3, the end of the third quarter of Game 1. Were they playing bad then? They fell apart.
Okay,
they
let's
just
say
fell
let's say
apart.
the Cavs have their best defensive effort of the series.
They will because
You're
they're
just-
at home. I mean,
Well, I
that's
don't
what
think
happens.
It's as easy
That's
as
basketball.
That. I don't think it's as easy
But
as
I
that.
don't think even if he was going to make changes, he was going to put Kevin Love to the bench and insert someone like Jefferson.
That's what I'm saying. It
Right.
forces his hands
Right.
to do that because
Yeah.
it's tough to take an all-star, former all-star player and put him to the bench. That's
Right.
exactly my point here.
I think Richard Jefferson is the guy that they have to put out there because he has been scrapping. He's been their second best player. He's been fighting every single minute that he's been out there. And that's why they are down 2-0 is because he has been their second best player. And, if they didn't have defensive lapses, if they didn't not fight for 50-50 balls and let them go the Warriors' way, then maybe we're talking about a split at this point. But I think that's why you go with RJ because he's been the best. There's no time to mess around now down 2-0. You can't you just maybe go with Channing Frye because he might work out or maybe go with somebody else. There's no messing around. Whatever's been working, you throw out there.
Jefferson did practice with the first team today, so it does point to him being in the starting lineup. But maybe Mozgov just to have a little bit of a different look out there and keep Jefferson coming off the bench because that's where he's been his best.
I don't like the tinkering with Moskov. That's what I worry about.
Mozgov's fallen off the face of the earth.
Yeah, absolutely.
They need to try to get something out of him.
All right, well, trailing the Warriors 2-0 here in the finals. LeBron James, he projected an aura of urgency when he spoke to the media yesterday. Have a listen.
Obviously, it's a do or die game for us. Can't afford to go down 3-0 to any team, and especially a team that's 73 and 9 in the regular season and playing the type of basketball that they're playing. So it's a do or die game for us, and we understand that.
So there he is. Again, he knows it's a do or die game. But my question to you is this the most important game of LeBron's career, being down 2-0, heading at home at Cleveland for Game 3? What do you think?
I say no.
No.
Because if they lose this game and they lose this series, it's too historically one of the greatest teams of all time, and there's no shame in that. And whatever happens, he's still got 2 championships in his keeping, and I think that's what's more important here. Because I think there's been games throughout his career, Game 6 against the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals 2012. If he'd lost that game, he wouldn't have even gotten to the finals to go on and win the championship.
Right.
So this game is obviously very important in this series, but in the whole context of his career, I think there have been more important games, and I think this game is going to be looked back at when we look back at this whole series and this whole season and say, no one was going to beat the Warriors anyway.
Would you agree with that?
I love this question. Is this the most important game of his career? Isn't every game that comes up in the future the most important game of his career? I think in 2011, when they lost to the Mavericks after proclaiming that they were going to win 7 championships with the Miami Heat, and they were the favorite in that series, I think was a huge disappointment. So you're right. If they lose this series, people are going to look back and say, hey, they played the Warriors. The Warriors were the better team. The Warriors are the favorites. That's why if they do lose this, it's not as big as going to Miami and saying, hey, I'm the king of the world and I'm going to win a lot of championships. And again, LeBron regrets that.
Yeah.
And that didn't work out all that well. I think that 11 series where that was a bad series. You mentioned that Boston game. I think LeBron looks back at the way he played against the Mavs, that 8-point performance where he was kind of just hanging out on the sideline as a, sort of a black mark on his career.
All right, so important to the series, of course, this game.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much LeBron's legacy. All right, let's talk a little X's and O's here. What's the biggest key for the Cavs to win tonight? What do you think it is?
I think it's Kyrie Irving. Just simply put, the guy just has to find his flow. And regardless of what the Warriors are doing against the other 4 Cavs defensively, Kyrie Irving can score. We're talking about isolation basketball and that it's not good for playing against the Golden State Warriors defense. That's true. But Kyrie Irving can score at all times in isolation basketball. That's what he does. That's what he's good at. He can pop 15 in a quarter and win you a basketball game. Yeah, maybe not against the Warriors 4 of 7, but easily for a quarter and help you win a game at home.
Yeah, I mean, he has had so much trouble scoring the ball because their defense has been so good on him. Every time he sort of snakes inside for one of those shots, he has to go through 2 or 3 defenders and he can still make it. But I actually think it's J.R. Smith because we're just waiting for him to turn up. And throughout the playoffs, he's been much more impactful at home.
Sure.
Even though he's not scoring all that more, only 3 points a game more at home than he is on the road. But the impact he's having on the team is what's important. He's shooting the ball at a much better percentage from 2 and 3-point range. But when he's on the floor, he's a plus 16 at home versus a -1 when he's on the road. So he's that guy, once he gets a few shots to drop, I think it opens up for Kyrie Irving. I think it opens up for LeBron James because then teams have to focus in their defense a little bit more on him. When he's just chucking away and the ball's not dropping, people can ignore him.
Yeah, to echo that a little bit, I think 3-point shooting has to be there for the Cavs tonight. Not only in terms of knocking them down with more consistency, but I think even just attempts. They are not getting a whole lot of 3-point shots up. Again, a big part of that is the Warriors' defense. They run them off the line. They switch everything, so it's not easy to get good looks. But they've got to get more than 22 3-point attempts up per game, which they got 44 in these 2 games. that's not going to cut it. Honestly, it's just not going to be enough points against this Warriors team who are going to get theirs on the other end. So you got to see guys like JR, Dellavedova, Shumpson, whoever it is, even LeBron, they got to take more and hit more to have any chance to put up enough points, I think.
And without Kevin Love out there, that's another 6 or 7 they have to find from somebody as well. So
And LeBron's not going to stop believing in his guys just because they're down 2-0 and because Kevin Love is out. He is going to continue to look for those guys to find shots. This is what he wants. You know, he wants to find those guys around him. He didn't like last year's finals where he had to shoot a billion times.
Well, season on the line, of course, for the Cavs tonight, basically. We got to take a break, though. When we come back, Kirby, he rocks Cleveland. We'll talk to TK live, deep inside the queue. Back in 2. Kirby rocks Cleveland indeed. Trey Kirby live in the queue, getting us ready for Game 3. Yeah, shred on, man. Nice
Rock
stuff.
and roll.
All right, we got a lot of questions here, but first things first. Congratulations on making it into the Getty Images database. Trey, you're in there.
Huge! From now on, whenever you search my name in Getty, you'll find me smiling at Richard Jefferson.
Great stuff. 4 photos, all with Richard Jefferson. All right, I love it. All right, so despite reported optimism from Kevin Love and his sort of camp, we know that he is not playing in Game 3 tonight. ESPN reported earlier today, though, he was lobbying hard to play. Do you have any insight into how the Cavs ultimately came to this decision?
Yeah, like you mentioned, he's officially out. He was really frustrated, really wanted to play, but the fact of the matter is he's still in the concussion protocol. He went through partial shoot-around today, and going through a practice is part of the concussion protocol. So the Cavs say that today's shoot-around satisfies that requirement. So Kevin Love definitely getting closer to playing, but the earliest is Game 4 this Friday. Not really much you can do when you're in the concussion protocol. Just pass the test.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We were already debating it here a little earlier in the show, but do you know who Coach Lou is going to start in Kevin Love's place? Is it Fry? Is it Mozgov? Or is it Richard Jefferson? Any insight into that?
Well, there hasn't been an official announcement yet, at least before the show, but it seems like it's going to be my good friend Richard Jefferson. He was wearing a red starters jersey in practice today. He was the last player on the court. He's getting a lot of extra shots up, and honestly, he's been the Cavs' second best player in the series so far. He's been competing on both ends. He's been playing super hard, and Coach Lou and the rest of the team keep emphasizing pace. And this is, I think, starting Richard Jefferson would help him with the pace because it would keep him small, push LeBron to the 4. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Richard Jefferson in the starting lineup tonight.
I thought you were going to say Richard Jefferson was wearing a starter's T-shirt for a second there. I was like, oh yeah, that bodes well.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say starters jersey without thinking of, us being the starters, but it was just a maroon jersey. I'm sorry to report.
Okay, that's fine. What's the mood been like around the Cavaliers today, being down 2-0 in the series and facing the possible dilemma of being down 3-0?
Well, you're not going to believe this, but the Warriors were a lot looser than the Cavs were. You walk into Warriors practice, they're shooting half-court shots. You walk into a Cavs practice, they've got 5 guys going around the arc working on their three-pointers. LeBron's called this a must-win. He's called this a do-or-die game, and he said he's going to do anything his team needs for him to win. And when you hear that from LeBron, to me, it kind of signifies he's going to be in takeover mode. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them start this small lineup with Richard Jefferson out there, maybe even Channing Frye as well, try and outscore the Warriors. But I have to imagine LeBron is going to be in the post a lot, just backing guys down, hopefully trying to create for himself and for other players.
Yeah, we'll see. So what's the plan for you right now? I mean, there's still about 2.5 hours until game time. Do you just chill in the green room, eat a sandwich? What do you do?
Well, I've got a little bit of time, like you're saying, so I'm going to head out, talk to some of the fans, and get them to give a pep talk to LeBron James. Not the real one, the one I stole from my daughter. I also took her Steph Curry, but don't worry, she's still got Joakim Noah, James Harden, and Anthony Davis at home.
Okay, good stuff. And final thing here, we gave Lee his challenges when he was out in Oakland for the finals. We now officially give you your challenge. It's pretty simple. We need you to find Brent Barry Bones and then write and perform a song with him.
Simple.
Yeah.
Write and perform? You mean like I got to come up with choreography and everything?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. So, look, Bones loves that stuff. Just find him, he'll write it all, and you just sing along with him.
Yeah, and I guess the nice thing is he can sing the high parts, and now that I got this scratchy voice, I can sing the deep, low bass
That's exactly
parts.
right. You guys are like a new age Boys to Men. All right, so there you go. That's your challenge. Trey, enjoy the game tonight. Enjoy talking to the people outside as well.
All right, see you guys.
Quick break, but when we come back, a behind-the-scenes look at one of the NBA's best Snapchat accounts. Snapchat accounts, that is not easy to say. Welcome back to the starters. Cavs swingman Richard Jefferson has been getting some quality minutes this postseason. Might even start Game 3. But the 15-year vet has really turned heads with his rise as a social media Snapchat superstar. And this week, our Trey Kirby caught up with RJ to get the story behind the snaps.
Snapchat videos, I think, are only 15 seconds long, so you can't really tell a whole story. So I'm kind of hoping to get the story behind some of your most notorious snaps. Not too long ago, you snapped LeBron taking a nap in what seemed to be like a Batman-esque hyperbaric chamber. Then you called him a weirdo. What is the story behind this chamber?
Well, there's a random chamber that we have, and you never know who's in it because they put a towel over it. And so I go and I look in it, and it was LeBron, but he was sleeping like he was like Count Dracula. And I was like, I always wondered how he did what he did. And so but most of the time we're just joking around. And it might be me that's behind the camera, but my teammates have embraced it. And I'm not the only one that's on Snapchat, but I'm probably the one that's a little bit, but that's probably the most silly on it. And me and Channing Frye, we have a good time on it. He's one of my good friends. And so me and him probably Snapchat the most.
I do have some questions about your adult dance party. First one, Channing Frye shows up to your house in the front seat of an Uber, and like you're saying, 7-foot millionaires shouldn't take Uber pool.
No, Uber pool, no, that was a bad call. But, you know, Cleveland, we live kind of out in the suburbs, so there's not a lot of Uber options. And so Channing pulled up, and he knew that I was not going to be happy, so his knees were all the way to the dashboard. And so immediately I just start cracking jokes with him. And, you know, our driver was really, really nice. It's always funny when we catch Ubers around town. The drivers want to chat with us. They want to talk the game. They want to take pictures. The one guy FaceTime his daughter-in-law. It was so we have a good time with that. But yeah, Channing gets a lot of the backlash of my Snapchat game.
Do you guys have adult dance parties quite often?
No, we don't. That was one of those ones where what we try to do, you know, because we had a lot of time in between both series, our Detroit series and with Detroit and Atlanta and Toronto. You know, we took some times with our family, but then we also tried to get together as much as we could. So, you know, we had dinner at Kev's house one night. We went out to dinner twice as a team, and then afterwards we just hung out at Kevin's house and played cards. We shot pool. We just, you know, we were socializing. We had the music up. We were just kind of hanging out, doing what we normally do, but fans never ever get a chance to see that. And so when guys were jamming out a little bit and we were having an adult dance party, pretty much it's almost like a karaoke without the microphone. So it was a good time.
You did mention on one of your snaps, I wish I could dance.
No.
Can you really not dance?
I cannot dance, but boy, I can really lip sync a real good song. But
what's your go-to?
I don't have a go-to. My versatility is probably key to my lip sync game. But no, I can't dance. But those guys, oh man, they
seem like they're having a great time.
Oh, they're having a great time. And they were, didn't you see them? The way they were kind of cheesing to the camera?
Oh,
man,
yeah.
They were eating it up. Don't let these guys fool you that Richard's always Snapchatting. Well, your face is always in the middle of it doing it. Yeah. They're always having fun.
All right, Rich, thank you so much. See you on the snaps, man.
Oh, yes, you will. Yes, you will.
After the jump, we'll recap Game 2's biggest storylines as we get set for Game 3 in Cleveland tonight. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Starters. Game 3 of the NBA Finals tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern on ABC. But before that ball is tipped, we look back at the major storylines from the Warriors' Game 2 victory.
At number 5, another Cavs mid-game lead goes poof. Game 1 happened in the third quarter. Game 2 in the second quarter. Defensive lapses like that one. Hey, get out to the shooters, and turnovers happened. LeBron had 3 in the quarter, game high 7, tying his career high for a finals game. At number 4, no support for LBJ. Kyrie Irving, J.R. Smith, Kevin Love, guys he depends on night in and night out. They had a combined 20 points in this one. Obviously not going to get it done. There was a reason why Kevin Love couldn't help out as much as he did, because he was concussed on this play. An inverted elbow from Harrison Barnes knocked him out. He was obviously disoriented as he tried to come back in the third quarter. He had to sit down, and he has been ruled out of Game 3 tonight. At number 2, although Steph shot the ball well, 7 of 11 from the floor, he was only able to play 24 minutes because of foul trouble, here picking up his 4th, and they still won by 33 points. A big reason for that, Draymond Green. Steph drawing 2 guys allowed Draymond so much room. He scored 28 points. He started to feel it. He's hitting step back jumpers like that one. And he's many people's pick for NBA Finals MVP through 2 games.
So the question is, what's most likely to change tonight? Is it just the role players and the Cavs in general being at home, knocking in more shots?
Well, that's going to happen. I think those defensive lapses don't happen. I think 50-50 balls go the Cavs' way, but Steph Curry's not going to play 24 minutes.
Yeah.
That's incredible. That's
And
an
not
incredible
gonna-
number. He's
not
going to
gonna
play a
score
lot
less
more.
than 20 points either. I think he's going to have 30 plus tonight.
It is weird that the Warriors are up 2-0 in this series and he's averaging, 14.5 points per game.
He hasn't
A
even
guy
scored
that
30,
averaged 30 in the regular season. He's going, him or Clay or both of them. We've talked about it before. They're going to likely, one of them is going to have that 15 to 20 point quarter explosion, let alone whatever they end up in this game. And can the Cavs contain it when it happens?
But it's not being talked about that Steph actually found his flow in Game 2. He just couldn't be on the floor.
Yeah.
You know, hitting 7-11 is an incredible number for a guy who shoots a ton of 3 balls.
Yeah.
So he's feeling it going into Game 3.
For sure. I don't know how this is possible here, Lee, but I'm told you have a very solid play. Where is it coming from?
Just because there were no games last night, Skeets, doesn't mean we don't have a very solid play. It comes from the WNBA, in fact, and it's the Los Angeles Sparks. Check out the ball movement here. It's got all what we like about a very solid
Bounce
play.
pass.
Bounce pass, the ball fizzing around.
Wow,
It's
this-
like a netball play, and it just keeps on going and going and going until it finds Christy Tolliver in the corner for a
Swish ball.
That's what I call a very solid play.
That was very solid.
Excellent.
Great stuff.
Great
Right.
stuff.
Good job, Lily. Guys, enjoy Game 3 tonight. We're back tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Eastern to break it all down.
Thanks for joining us, folks. And remember, anyone can learn a cool handshake. Obviously.
Embrace the night, people.